Okay, right now, in the season that we're at, the thing that we are working on, especially with our big kids, is it started off as par, but now I turned it into wrap. So R is for responsibilities, A is for attitude, and P is for privileges. So the Lord gave me privileges and responsibilities, and I thought it was privileges P, A for and, responsibilities. But my husband has really been highlighting attitude lately. Like, it doesn't matter if you do what we're asking. It does matter. But if you do it with a crummy attitude, that's not what we're looking for. Because long term, when they're in a relationship with a spouse, when they're in a relationship with their, when they have a roommate and they have to navigate those dynamics, when they have a boss, or a teammate that they have to do something and maybe they don't want to do, or it's not how they would do it, or whatever, your attitude matters. So anyway, during the school year, we don't really do screen time unless it's on the weekends. And we really only do screen time when it's nap time for the little ones. So in the summer, obviously we are home more often. The kids aren't away at school all day. So they are more prone to wanting to have time on the screens, which is okay. And we still hold it off till nap time. But we do make them earn it. And the way that they earn it is they have a certain amount of responsibilities that they need to do. And they have to have a good attitude. So even if they've checked everything off their list, because yes, we do have a list, and maybe I'll show that another time. But they have their daytime, like their morning routine that they have to check off, and then they have their evening routine that they have to check off. And there's certain chores that rotate through our house. So for example, one of our kiddos has to refill the dog's food. One of the kiddos has to refill the dog's water. Two of the kiddos have dishwasher duty. So the way that they like to split it up is somebody does the top rack, somebody does the bottom rack. But then we got into a place where one of them was in sports. So whenever they were supposed to help with the evening or their after school dishwasher responsibility, there was only one kiddo to do it. So they flipped it to be the kiddo with after school sports. He would do it in the morning. Like when they got up in the morning before school, he would empty the dishwasher. And then the other kiddo, his brother, would then do the afternoon after school dishwasher. In that season, they had to make an adjustment. And that's the way that they chose to, in their eyes, do it, like make it more fair, I guess. The other thing is, though, now that we're home more often, we run the dishwasher like 3 times a day. So they've kind of been bickering and arguing about like who's doing what and is it fair. So we're still navigating some of those things, but dishwasher is one of the chores. The other thing that I'm having the children help me do now, the 4 oldest, is set up and tear down before every meal, before and after every meal. So each week that changes. So one week the boys will do setup and the girls will do tear down, and then the following week the girls will do setup and the boys will tear down. So that way when everybody leaves after their meal, it's not like I'm not trying to do all of the work myself to take all the dishes to the sink and clean off the table and all of that stuff. I do still have to remind them, hey, you need to remember to clean up. Hey, please stop what you're doing and come set the table for dinner. So maybe one thing I can do to work around that so I don't have to constantly remind them is what's really worked well for our kids is like setting alarms, and like they set their own alarm to get up in the morning, things like that. And that's really worked well for them. So maybe if I plan to have dinner every night at 5, maybe they have a 4:45 alarm that they're like, oh, I have to go, help mom with dinner. We have not implemented that yet. It just came to me as I was talking. But and then on Saturdays in the afternoon, usually when the little ones are sleeping, I gather all my big kids, my 4 oldest, and each of them have their own weekly list. And again, I said, like, on that weekly list, they have their morning responsibilities, their afternoon responsibilities, including brushing teeth, brush their hair, get their uniform on, pack their lunch, all that stuff. But we also will go through their schedule for the week. So like if one of my kiddos has sports going on, I'll let them know, okay, you have practice at this time and this day. Because I can't keep track of 7 people's stuff. Like if they have practice, if they have to have game jerseys, if they have to have their socks, their shin guards, their cleat, like I cannot do that for 7 kiddos. I cannot keep that straight. So they have their own schedule, and they are responsible to know, oh, I need to pack my uniform the night before. Mom, my uniform's dirty. Can you wash it? Or, Mom, I can't find my soccer socks. Do you know where they are? We also have a shower immediately policy. If you have after school sports, you have to shower immediately when you get home. As who doesn't need an extra shower, right? So they have to shower if they have sports that day. And also if they have any sport gear from practice or from a game or whatever, it does not go in their dirty laundry bin in their room. It goes on top of the washer because I need to wash it immediately. I didn't know just the funk that some of my children would carry. I mean, as adults, I know that adults, if they're not taking care of themselves, they can have a little funk. That's why we wear deodorant, right? But just like with my sweet little children, and they're growing up, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize. Yep. So anyway, I just have them put their stuff on top of the washer so that I can wash it immediately and make sure that they have socks for the next practice, that they have their uniform for the next practice, that whatever it is. And yeah, so the weekly meetings have been really helpful, and we get to plan out to, if there's opportunities for maybe some of the other kids that aren't in sports to go see. Just a minute, bud. You're supposed to be going to bed. But if they oh, poor guy. But if they want to go cheer on their brother at soccer or something like that, they can put that on their little calendar. Other things that we put on the calendar are one of the kids' schools, they have like a 6-day cycle of when gym is, when their band lessons are, like different things like that. And again, I'm not going to remember, oh, you have band today, you need to bring your drum. Oh, you have clarinet today, you need to bring your clarinet. I can't keep that stuff straight. I don't know when gym is. I don't know when whatever. So we have a list at the beginning of the year of which day, which kid has what thing. But we will just go through that week and be like, okay, Monday is day 2, Wednesday is day 3. And they just know in their mind, oh, that means clarinet's day 2. And, drums are day 3 and whatever it is. And then if they forget their clarinet or they forget their drums or they forget whatever the thing is, it's not mom's fault. And they get to learn accidents happen. What can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen next time? Did you look at your list the night before? Did you look at your list the day of? There's multiple times where we can be checking, what's coming up, what is today, and all these different things. And long term, that hopefully will teach them responsibility, that hopefully will teach them how to sit down every week and analyze, okay, what is this next week going to look like? What do I need to get done this week? What do I need to prioritize? We initially had them start to make goals, what is your goal for this week? So to be honest, one of our kids' goals was to take a shower more often because their hair was getting so tangled and it was hard to brush out, and it just we just kept having to cut knots out. And part of it was we just need to shower more often, so they had specific days highlighted, like you must take a shower these days. So that worked really well. I will say, now that we're not in school right now, we're in summer break, it's been much harder to stay on track with like morning and afternoon routines, because they don't need to get to school in the morning. They don't really have an after school rush. So it's a little bit different, but I know that we're only 2 weeks into summer, and as they start to have some day camps and things like that going on, we really will need to sit down. Just look, my husband and I sit down every week just to plan out who's taking which kiddo to what appointments are going on. Does my husband need to work later because he has a networking event? Do I need to be present for like a meeting? Stuff like that. So it changes every season, and we're flexible, and we're learning what works and what doesn't work. And if something falls through the cracks, we just figure out like, okay, so that was that. We listen and we don't judge. And we like, how are we going to make sure that doesn't happen again? Where did we miss it? And I think all of those opportunities are great for our children to learn, so that they understand time management, and they understand first things first. They understand work hard, play hard. They understand, and we really do value our kids' playtime at home. They're in their own individual classes for most of the day when they're at school. And when they come home to be together as a family, I don't really care much about homework. That's on them if they want to do it. And I will say this too. The bigger kids, they have a whole half hour before I even come and pick them up after school, because I have to do the other school pickup first. It's before theirs, or it's at the same time, but their school is smaller, so I have to do that one first. So they either have a half an hour to do it while they're at school just waiting for me because they have a later pickup. They also have another half hour on the car ride home, so that's an hour right there. Well, then you have a half an hour to school the next day. That's an hour and a half that they could be doing schoolwork if it was important to them. But like when it comes to coming home, like I don't harp on them for schoolwork. I love when they play with neighborhood kids. I love when they get on their bikes and exercise, or they're playing soccer out in the field, or playing with their younger siblings. Like I personally think those things are so much more character developing, and so many things. I think that is so much more important than then getting another worksheet done. To be honest, if they're in school however many hours a day and they can't get done what they need to get done, then why are we paying all this money for them to go to school and to then be sent home with more work? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, this is what I'm thinking long term. If my children are used to working a full day at their job, and then their boss gives them stuff to work on when they go home, like, I understand when you're new, I understand when I don't know, but like, you gotta be able to turn it off and go be at home with your family. Like, I think it just really gets in the way of family time. Like, and we aren't even super involved in sports yet. Like, we've really held off on sports so that we can spend time as a family. But man, I feel bad for some of these families that like, they sit down and have to do homework with their kids, and then they have to take them to practice, and then I'm like, where's like the life in that, So enough about me, but that's some of the things that we do as far as schedules and time management to help teach our kids as they get older. And it ebbs and flows in every season with every kiddo. Sometimes some things are highlighted for some and not for others. Oh, laundry too. That's another one we put on our list because it just seems to stack up. So if there's like certain days, or if there's certain kiddos that are responsible for laundry, I usually wash it and dry it while they're at school, because again, I don't want them to be like burdened when they get home. They're already on task all day long. But they do chip in for laundry, that like to sort it and put it away when they get home. Maybe like one load a day. It's not even one load a day per kiddo. like once every other day or 2 times every 3 days, or like they get some choice. They know that they have to get a certain amount in per week, but then they get to choose when they split them up. And I think it's really good for them to like visualize, because we'll put down like, okay, you have baseball this day, you have a game this day, you have practice that day. And then like based on how many loads of laundry they need to get done, they're like, well, if I'm going to have an away game, I'm not going to have much time to get stuff done. So maybe I'll try to do it on this day or that day that I don't have baseball. Yeah, so anyway, that's what's working for us in this season right now.